Welcome to my channel, Valuable Coins All World. If you've ever wondered if those old coins you have lying around could be worth a fortune, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into some of the rarest US coins, revealing their jaw-dropping values that will leave you amazed. Stick with us till the end. You won't want to miss what these hidden treasures could be worth. Let's get started. Top 1. In the vast and rich world of coin collecting, there are certain coins that rise above the rest, not just for their historical significance, but for their rarity, their unique composition, and the powerful stories they carry from America's past. One such remarkable coin is the 1943 Jefferson Nickel, a 5-cent piece that stands out for reasons far beyond its face value. While most nickels pass quietly through the hands of millions every day, this particular coin has become a symbol of wartime innovation, numismatic passion, and incredible collector value. Today, we dive deep into the story of the 1943 no-mint Jefferson Nickel, an ordinary-looking coin that, under the surface, holds a value as high as $165,000 at first glance. The 1943 Jefferson Nickel looks like any other 5-cent coin. It features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, his stern and thoughtful gaze facing left. The reverse side proudly displays Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. But what lies within this simple round coin is a story born during the turmoil and urgency of World War II. The year 1943 marked the height of America's involvement in the global conflict, and every part of the economy, including the U.S. Mint, was affected by the demands of war. One of the key metals needed for the war effort was nickel. Used in everything from armor plating to weapons manufacturing, nickel was too valuable to be used in coinage during these critical years. So, in a bold and unprecedented move, the U.S. Mint temporarily changed the composition of the Jefferson Nickel. Starting in late 1942 and continuing through 1945, nickels were no longer made of their traditional metal mix. Instead, they were minted using an alloy known as billion, composed of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This not only conserved nickel for the military, but also gave the coin a distinctive silver tone that collectors can instantly recognize today. The 1943 Jefferson Nickel is particularly interesting because, although it was produced at 3 mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, this version carries no mint mark. That alone is enough to raise eyebrows because the wartime silver nickels from Philadelphia were among the first U.S. coins to display a mint mark, a large P positioned boldly above the dome of Monticello. However, in a rare handful of cases, some 1943 nickels were released without this mint mark, despite being made of the wartime silver alloy. The no mint mark variation makes this coin significantly rarer and highly sought after by serious collectors. Physically, the coin maintains the same standard dimensions of the Jefferson Nickel series, a weight of 2.5 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. Its silver color and round shape make it easy to mistake for an ordinary nickel, unless you know what to look for. The striking difference lies within the composition and the minting anomalies of that wartime year. The 35% silver content gives it intrinsic value above its denomination, but that's just the beginning, because of its unique metal content and historical context. The 1943 no-mint Jefferson Nickel has become one of the most prized nickels among collectors. Not only does it represent a significant shift in U.S. coinage, but it also symbolizes the nation's efforts to adapt during a time of global conflict. Each coin tells a story of rationing, of sacrifice, of patriotism, and of American ingenuity under pressure. Today, examples of this coin in pristine condition, particularly those graded as mint state by top coin grading services, are incredibly rare. They are often tucked away in private collections, passed down through generations, or fiercely fought over at auction. Collectors value them not just for their material composition, but for their legacy. Coins like these aren't just metal, they're living pieces of history. The market for rare coins has continued to grow, and with it, the value of unique pieces like the 1943 no-mint Jefferson Nickel. Recent auctions have seen examples of this coin, especially those with sharp details, minimal wear, and strong luster, fetch staggering prices. One such coin, in near-perfect condition and confirmed to be struck with the wartime silver alloy despite the absence of a mint mark, sold for an astonishing $165,000. That's right, $165,000 for a 5-cent piece. But to a passionate collector or historian, this coin is worth every penny. It's a tangible connection to America's past, a small artifact from a time when every resource, every decision, and even every coin had to serve a higher purpose. So the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel from the 1940s, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for the telltale signs, the silver tone, the placement, or absence of a mint mark, and the date. You never know. You might be holding in your hands not just a piece of change, but a rare relic valued at over $165,000. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Hidden treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. Top 2. In the fascinating universe of numismatics, where coins are more than just currency, they're keys to history and vessels of national identity, there occasionally comes a coin that challenges expectations and stuns collectors with both its story and its value. One such coin is the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, with no mint mark, that has become an unexpected legend among U.S. 5-cent pieces. At first glance, it may seem like a common coin lost in time, one of the billions minted in that year. But hidden among them, certain rare specimens possess qualities so unique and historical that they've fetched as much as $115,000 in auctions. An amount that turns heads and sparks dreams for collectors around the world. To understand the true value of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, we must first appreciate its origins. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, the Jefferson Nickel was introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, and it has since become one of the longest-running coin series in American history. The obverse features a dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson, America's third president and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse shows a detailed image of his beloved home, Monticello, framed by inscriptions that include E Pluribus Unum and United States of America. It is a clean, elegant design, one that has stood the test of time. The year 1964 was particularly significant for American coinage. It marked the final full year before the United States would undergo a massive overhaul of its coin metal compositions. Due to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage, the U.S. Mint began to shift away from using silver in circulating coinage starting in 1965. While dimes and quarters were the most directly affected by this change, rumors have long swirled in the numismatic community that experimental compositions and test strikes were explored for other denominations, including the nickel. Now, here's where the 1964 Jefferson Nickel becomes especially intriguing. Most nickels minted in that year were composed of the standard copper-nickel alloy. However, rare and mysterious examples have emerged struck in compositions believed to be holdovers or test remnants of the wartime alloy known as billion. This alloy, used primarily between 1942 and 1945 during World War II, consists of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. The goal during the war was to save nickel for military applications while still producing coinage. In 1964, there was no official reason for this composition to be used, but some coins, through anomaly or experiment, appear to contain the silver-manganese mix. These rare silver-colored nickels from 1964 are not easy to identify without professional testing, but their color and luster set them apart from typical nickels. Their silver tone is subtly different, a softer, more muted hue compared to the bright, brassy tone of regular copper-nickel coins. When found in excellent condition, they shimmer with an aura that hints at their unusual origin and metallic mystery. Adding to their mystique is the fact that these coins carry no mint mark, which usually signifies production at the Philadelphia Mint. With no mint mark and no official record of silver alloy strikes for nickels in 1964, these coins become even more puzzling and desirable. It's the kind of numismatic puzzle that collectors and historians live for, a coin that shouldn't exist, yet does, and holds a piece of hidden history within its rim. The physical characteristics of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel remain consistent with the series: a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and a weight of approximately 2.5 grams. The round shape, classic Jefferson portrait, and Monticello design make it instantly recognizable, but its composition sets it apart. When tested and confirmed to contain the billion alloy, these coins transition from pocket change to museum-worthy artifacts. In terms of value, these rare 1964 Jefferson Nickels have stunned even seasoned collectors. Coins verified to contain silver and manganese from that year, despite no official production records, have sold for incredible sums. One such coin, authenticated and preserved in mint state condition, was auctioned off for an unbelievable $115,000. That's right, What was once a humble 5-cent piece changed hands for more than $115,000, all because of its rarity, historical intrigue, and immaculate preservation. Why do collectors place such a high value on these coins? Because they combine everything that makes numismatics exciting: rarity, mystery, and a tangible connection to a unique historical moment. These coins challenge our understanding of the minting process and offer a chance to own something that defies the expected. It's not just about metal content, it's about the story, the curiosity, the hunt, and the thrill of discovering something extraordinary hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you're sorting through a jar of old change, don't dismiss the humble nickel, especially a 1964 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. Look closely at the color, the tone, the surface details. You could be holding more than just 5 cents. You could be holding a hidden treasure, an overlooked marvel of minting that's worth far more than its weight in metal. In fact, you could be holding a coin valued at $115,000. That is the wonder of coin collecting. Sometimes, the smallest pieces carry the greatest value. Top 3. In the vast and captivating world of coin collecting, some coins seem to exist almost as whispers from the past: quiet, unassuming pieces of metal that suddenly command massive attention when their secrets come to light. One such remarkable coin is the Jefferson Nickel from the year 1971, bearing the D mint mark of the Denver Mint. To the casual eye, it may appear like any other 5-cent piece that passed through millions of hands during the early 1970s. But in rare, specific examples, those struck with an unexpected composition and preserved in exceptional condition, this coin becomes a hidden treasure, one that has stunned collectors by fetching a jaw-dropping $85,000 in value. The Jefferson Nickel is a staple of American coinage. Introduced in 1938, this 5-cent coin replaced the beloved Buffalo nickel and featured a fresh new design honoring Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The obverse of the coin presents a stately left-facing portrait of Jefferson, designed by sculptor Felix Schlag. The reverse showcases a beautifully rendered image of his iconic home, Monticello, accompanied by inscriptions that express the values of the nation: E pluribus unum, United States of America, and, of course, the denomination 5 cents. By 1971, the Jefferson Nickel had been in circulation for over 3 decades and had undergone very few changes in appearance. However, what makes the 1971 D. Jefferson Nickel so intriguing is not its look, but its unexpected composition in some rare cases. Normally, nickels from this period were made of a standard alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Yet, a few remarkable specimens have been discovered that were struck using a composition long thought to have been retired: Billon, an alloy made of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This alloy, sometimes referred to as the wartime composition, was officially used between 1942 and 1945 when nickel metal was needed for military purposes during World War II. During those years, the U.S. Mint altered the metal content of nickels to preserve nickel for armor plating and other wartime applications. After 1945, the standard composition returned, so by 1971, there should not have been any coins struck using the silver-manganese mix. And yet, against all odds, a few of these mysterious and rare nickels exist. These coins, struck at the Denver Mint, show no obvious difference in design, diameter, or inscriptions from the regular issue. Measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, 1.55 millimeters thick, and weighing approximately 2.5 grams, their outward appearance is deceptively ordinary. But their color often gives them away, displaying a subtle silver sheen that differs from the warm, brassy tone of the typical copper-nickel alloy. When these rare pieces are tested and confirmed to contain silver, their identity shifts from ordinary coin to extraordinary anomaly. Numismatists speculate that these rare strikes may have occurred as part of a test run, a mint error, or an experimental reuse of leftover wartime planchets. Regardless of the reason, their existence is undeniable and extremely valuable. Because they were never intended for release in this composition, and because their numbers are exceedingly small, their rarity is unmatched among modern Jefferson Nickels. The thrill of discovering such a coin cannot be overstated. Imagine sifting through an old coin collection, or even pocket change, and spotting a 1971 Jefferson Nickel with a different shimmer. For collectors who are familiar with the coin story, such a discovery might bring heart-pounding excitement, because one rare example of this coin, verified to have been struck in silver-based billion alloy and kept in excellent mint state condition, was sold for a staggering $85,000. Let's pause for a moment to reflect on that number. A 5-cent coin, originally intended to buy bubble gum or a newspaper, now commanding the price of a luxury car or a down payment on a house. That's the magic of coin collecting. Historical errors, rare compositions, and the passage of time combined to turn everyday coins into hidden treasures. The 1971 Jefferson Nickel, in its rare silver alloy form, is a shining example of this phenomenon. But these coins are more than just valuable, they are tangible pieces of American history. They remind us of a time when materials were scarce, when the world was at war, and when the U.S. Mint adapted its methods to support the nation's needs. Their unexpected reappearance in later years sparks curiosity and questions. How did this happen? Was it a mint mistake? A quiet test that never saw official records? We may never know all the answers, but that only adds to the mystique and the collector's obsession. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just started paying attention to the coins in your pocket, let this be a reminder. Never overlook the humble nickel. The next time you come across a 1971 Jefferson nickel with a deep mint mark and an unusual shine, you might want to take a closer look. It could be one of the rarest modern nickels ever made, a coin composed of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese, quietly holding a secret legacy from America's wartime past. And if authenticated and preserved in high quality, that very coin could be worth a staggering $85,000. Yes, $85,000 for a 5-cent coin. This is the world of numismatics, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where history speaks through metal, and where a tiny disc in your hand might just be the key to a fortune. Top 4. In the realm of American coin collecting, some coins tell stories that most people overlook, stories hidden beneath layers of ordinary appearance. And yet, for those who look a little closer, for the collectors who understand the subtle differences and rare anomalies, these coins reveal themselves as priceless treasures. Today, we journey deep into the fascinating world of one such treasure, the 1975 Jefferson Nickel, minted in Denver and composed not of the usual nickel alloy, but of a rare, silver-laced composition, though it bears the same familiar design as its common counterparts. This particular 5-cent coin has stunned collectors by reaching a staggering market value of $72,000. Let's step back in time and understand what makes this coin so extraordinary. The Jefferson Nickel series was introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. With a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse, the design became a staple in American pockets for generations. Designed by sculptor Felix Schlag, this series is widely admired for its clean detail and powerful symbolism. But what truly sets some Jefferson Nickels apart from the rest isn't the design, it's what lies beneath the surface. By 1975, Jefferson Nickels were supposed to be struck in the standard alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel. However, a handful of rare 1975 nickels have emerged that were mysteriously struck in a billion composition, a metal mix that includes 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese. This unique composition was originally used only during World War II, from 1942 to 1945, when nickel was being conserved for military equipment. The silver-manganese blend served as a temporary substitute during those critical years. But after the war, the U.S. Mint returned to its regular nickel-copper alloy, and the silver composition was officially retired, or so we believed. That's why this 1975 Jefferson Nickel is so shocking. Its silver sheen hints at something different, something historically out of place. How did a wartime alloy end up being used in a peacetime coin 3 decades later? Theories abound. Some believe it could have been a test strike, an experiment quietly performed by mint workers. Others suggest it was the result of leftover planchets, possibly misfed into the coin press by accident. Regardless of how it happened, the fact remains, these coins should not exist. But they do, and that's what sends their value skyrocketing. Examining the physical characteristics of this coin, it matches the official specifications, a weight of 2.5 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. It has a standard round shape and bears the D mint mark just to the right of Monticello's image, signifying that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Its coloration is where the differences begin to emerge, a pale silver tone, subtly different from the grayish tint of traditional copper-nickel pieces. This color shift alone has been enough to spark questions and investigations from serious numismatists. When one of these coins surfaced in a private auction, it drew immediate attention. Not only was it authenticated for its unique bill and composition, but its condition was nearly flawless, a crisp strike with minimal wear, suggesting it had never seen circulation. Collectors recognized it immediately for what it was: a modern-day mystery, a ghost from the mint's past, and a trophy for any advanced collector showcase. The final sale price? An astonishing $72,000, all for a 5-cent coin that once could have slipped unnoticed into someone's change jar. Why does rarity matter so much in the coin world? Because it's not just about metal or design, it's about probability. The odds of one of these coins existing are incredibly small. The odds of it surviving in uncirculated condition? Even smaller. That's what transforms a simple coin into a high-stakes collector's item. It's not about what the coin is worth on paper, it's about the unique story it tells, and how few people in the world can say they own one. And then there's the thrill, the idea that this coin could still be out there, hiding in someone's drawer. A forgotten silver-shaded nickel among billions of ordinary ones. That's what keeps collectors searching, year after year, through rolls of coins, estate sales, flea markets, and inherited collections. Because lightning sometimes strikes in the form of a humble coin, and when it does, fortunes are made. The Jefferson Nickel of 1975 with a Denver mint mark, struck in a silver-based bill and alloy, stands as a shining example of that phenomenon. A beautiful accident of history, a mistake or test that became a marvel. Its combination of historical mystery, visual allure, and market rarity makes it one of the most talked about and sought-after nickels of the 20th century. And today, in verified and preserved condition, one such example has been valued at an incredible $72,000. That's $72,000 for a coin with a face value of just 5 cents. So if you're holding on to old change, take a moment to look closer. You just might be holding a silent piece of American history, one that could turn into an astonishing discovery. Top 5. We delve into the story of a coin that at first glance seems like any ordinary piece of pocket change. But this is no ordinary nickel. This is the Jefferson 5-cent coin from the year 1985, minted in Denver, with a composition that defies expectations and a value that has stunned collectors across the world. Believe it or not, this small, silver-toned coin has fetched as much as $54,000. Yes, $54,000, turning a humble 5-cent piece into a treasure of immense worth. To understand why this coin is so special, we must first look back at the history of the Jefferson Nickel series. Introduced in 1938, the Jefferson Nickel replaced the iconic Buffalo nickel and featured a profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. Designed by Felix Schlag, this series became a staple of American currency for decades. The coin's design was meant to reflect the dignity and legacy of Jefferson himself, strong, simple, and enduring. But in the numismatic world, it's the rare deviations from the standard that make a coin truly valuable. And the 1985 Jefferson Nickel is a textbook case of such rarity. Officially, Jefferson Nickels produced in 1985 were supposed to be composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, a sturdy, utilitarian alloy suitable for mass minting. But in a twist that has intrigued collectors and confused historians, a handful of nickels from this year appear to have been struck in a completely different composition. These coins contain a blend known as billion, 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese, a wartime-era alloy not seen in circulation since the days of World War II. This silver-manganese composition was used from 1942 to 1945 to conserve nickel for military use, but it should not have been present in coins struck 40 years later. So how did a 1985 Jefferson Nickel come to be made with a wartime alloy long retired from production? That's the million-dollar, or in this case, $54,000 question. Some experts believe it could have been a result of leftover planchets being struck years after their intended use. Others suggest it may have been a deliberate test strike conducted in secrecy by mint employees, or an error that slipped through unnoticed. Whatever the cause, the end result is clear: a highly valuable, extremely rare coin that should not exist. Visually, the coin's silver appearance stands out subtly against its copper-nickel peers. Its weight is recorded at 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, dimensions consistent with standard nickels of the era. The round shape remains unchanged, and the deep mint mark, located to the right of Monticello, confirms its origin from the Denver Mint. But beneath this ordinary surface lies an extraordinary composition, one that has caused this coin to leap from everyday currency into the elite circle of collectible rarities. When one of these coins surfaced in the hands of a private collector, it underwent rigorous testing and authentication. Experts confirmed the unusual metal makeup, verifying its composition and authenticity through metallurgical analysis. Once authenticated, the coin ignited a bidding war among advanced collectors and investors alike. In pristine, uncirculated condition, its value skyrocketed, ultimately reaching a jaw-dropping sale price of $54,000. That's the kind of money that changes lives, all from a coin many would overlook in everyday change. But why does such a coin hold this kind of power in the collector's world? The answer lies in three factors: rarity, error, and mystery. Rarity drives demand. When only a handful of such coins are known to exist, or perhaps just one, the value naturally climbs. The fact that this 1985 Jefferson Nickel represents an error or anomaly in minting adds even more allure. And then there's the mystery. Why was an obsolete alloy used in a modern coin? Could more of them be out there, waiting to be discovered? That lingering question keeps collectors endlessly searching. It's important to note that this kind of rarity isn't always immediately visible to the naked eye. In fact, many such coins go unnoticed because they blended so well with ordinary circulation coins. That's why coin roll hunters, collectors, and treasure seekers spend countless hours examining every coin in detail, weighing, measuring, checking coloration, and studying mint marks. The thrill of discovery lies not just in the potential value, but in the idea that history may have left clues in plain sight. For those who dream of finding one of these coins, it's a reminder to never overlook the smallest details. That dull-looking nickel in your pocket may just be a once-in-a-lifetime find. And even though the majority of coins will be standard, the hunt is what fuels the passion of collectors around the world. Because once in a while, lightning strikes, and when it does, it can turn 5 cents into $54,000. So the next time you come across a 1985 Jefferson Nickel, especially one with a Denver mint mark and a silvery sheen, don't dismiss it. Study it closely. You might just be holding one of the rarest coins of the late 20th century, a coin with a story that defies logic, a coin that bridges wartime history with modern minting. And if authenticated, you might find yourself the lucky owner of a coin that could sell for an incredible $54,000. Written out, that's 54,000 US dollars, all from something once thought to be worth just 5 cents. Top 6. In the fascinating world of coin collecting, sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight, disguised as everyday change jingling in our pockets. One such example is the incredible 1987 Jefferson Nickel with a Denver mint mark, a 5-cent coin that, at first glance, seems utterly ordinary. But what if we told you that this small, silver-colored coin could be worth a staggering amount, not 5 cents, not even $500, but an unbelievable $47,000? That's right, 47,000 US dollars for a coin many people would overlook or spend without a second thought. The story of the 1987 Jefferson Nickel is a perfect blend of history, mystery, and numismatic rarity. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint and carries all the expected characteristics of a typical 5-cent piece. It has a round shape, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.55 millimeters, and weighs just 2.5 grams. On the surface, it appears to be an ordinary coin. But what truly sets it apart, and what makes it such a numismatic marvel, is its unexpected composition. Normally, Jefferson Nickels from this era were made of a standard alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel. However, this particular coin, the 1987 Jefferson Nickel, was somehow minted with a billing composition, an unusual and outdated alloy consisting of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This metal combination had not been in regular use since the 1940s, when it was adopted as part of the U.S. Mint's effort to conserve nickel during World War II. The fact that this composition reappeared in a coin struck in 1987 raises a host of questions that continue to puzzle collectors and experts to this day. How could such a metal mix have been used 4 decades after its official retirement? Theories abound. Some believe that leftover wartime planchets were accidentally or secretly used by Mint employees. Others think it may have been a special test strike or experimental piece that accidentally entered circulation. Regardless of how it happened, the result is the same: a coin that should not exist, but somehow does. From a visual perspective, the coin boasts a silver-like sheen with a red-brown tint, which subtly distinguishes it from the more commonly seen gray tone of modern nickel coins. If you examine this coin closely, especially in uncirculated or high-grade condition, its brilliance is unmistakable. The obverse features the classic profile of Thomas Jefferson, with every detail of his facial features and hair design finely etched. On the reverse, Monticello stands proudly, the same iconic architectural rendering that has adorned Jefferson Nickels for decades. But it's not the design or the diameter that excites collectors the most. It's the mystery behind its composition, the extreme rarity of its existence, and the mind-blowing market value it commands. You see, this is not just a coin, it's a story, a relic, and a puzzle all rolled into one. When one of these rare 1987 Jefferson Nickels surfaced and was sent for professional grading and analysis, numismatists were stunned. Testing confirmed the unexpected metal content, the 35% silver, combined with copper and manganese, and immediately elevated this coin to the ranks of elite heirs. The coin was given a high grade due to its uncirculated condition, meaning it had not been subjected to the wear and tear of daily use. That, in itself, adds significant value to any collectible coin. From there, the auction market took notice. Collectors and investors quickly realized that this was more than just a fluke, it was an opportunity. The competition to acquire such a rare and unusual coin was fierce. Eventually, one such piece sold for an astonishing amount, $47,000. Written in words, that's $47,000 for a 5-cent coin, thanks to its rare alloy and minting anomaly. Let that sink in for a moment. A coin that was meant to be exchanged for a stick of gum, a bus fare, or forgotten in a drawer has become a crown jewel in a collector's showcase. It's a testament to the fact that every coin has a story, and sometimes, that story is worth a small fortune. So what does this mean for you? It means that right now, in your change jar, your wallet, or even stuck between couch cushions, you might have something truly valuable. A coin that defies expectations. A piece of American history that somehow slipped through the cracks of minting protocols and found its way into circulation. This is why coin enthusiasts examine every coin they come across with a careful eye, because finds like this aren't just possible. They're real. If you happen to come across a 1987 Jefferson Nickel with a Denver mint mark and a slightly silver or off-color hue, don't ignore it. Weigh it. Inspect it. Consider having it analyzed by a professional grading service. Because if it turns out to be one of these rare silver alloy error coins, you might just be holding a ticket to a life-changing payday. Coins like the 1987 Jefferson Nickel teach us that numismatics isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt. A search for the extraordinary hidden among the ordinary. A world where 5 cents can transform into $47,000, not because of gold or diamonds, but because of rarity, history, and a twist of fate. And that's what makes this coin, and the entire world of collecting, so incredibly thrilling. Top 7. In the vast and endlessly intriguing world of coin collecting, every so often a coin emerges that challenges the ordinary, defies expectations, and captivates collectors with its mystery and rarity. Today, we're diving deep into the story of one such coin, a coin that might look like any other 5-cent piece, but holds an astounding hidden value. We're talking about the Jefferson Nickel minted in the year 1990, bearing the D mint mark for Denver. This unassuming silver-colored coin, when viewed with the right eye and understanding, could be worth an incredible some $40,000. Let's take a closer look at why this 1990 Jefferson Nickel is causing such a stir among numismatists and collectors around the world. At first glance, it presents as any other regular nickel, round in shape, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters and a thickness of 1.55 millimeters. It weighs 2.5 grams and displays the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with Monticello, his historic home, etched into the reverse. But this is no ordinary coin. Beneath its familiar surface lies an extraordinary anomaly. This particular coin was mysteriously struck using a composition that hadn't been part of the standard Jefferson nickel makeup for decades. While nickels in 1990 were supposed to be made of a standard cupronickel alloy composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, this example was minted using bilin, an alloy blend that contains 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. That's the same silver-based wartime composition used only during World War II from 1942 to 1945, when nickel was being conserved for military production. The big question is, how did this rare composition end up being used in a coin dated 1990? No one knows for sure. Theories include leftover planchets from the 1940s that were somehow fed into modern minting presses, or perhaps a test strike using experimental planchets that was never meant to be released into circulation. Whatever the cause, what's undeniable is the sheer rarity and error this coin represents, a fluke of history that makes it one of the most desirable Jefferson nickels ever discovered from the late 20th century. The color of the coin gives the first clue. Instead of the common dull gray found in typical nickels, this one carries a soft silver shine with hints of reddish-brown tones due to its unique metal mix. When collectors first found examples like this, they immediately knew something was different. And upon weighing the coin and testing its composition, their suspicions were confirmed. It was unlike any other 1990 nickel they had ever encountered. The Denver Mint, known for its high-volume production, has had a few notable errors slip through over the decades, but this particular one stands out because of both its metallic content and the year in which it was struck. By 1990, minting technology had advanced enough to prevent major composition errors, making this find even more shocking and valuable. Coins like this are often referred to as off-metal errors, or wrong planchet errors, and they're among the rarest types of mint mistakes. Only a few ever exist, and even fewer are found by the public. Once this rare 1990 Jefferson Nickel was authenticated and graded by professional numismatic authorities, it garnered widespread attention. Collectors from all over the country scrambled to examine their change jars, collections, and even dealer inventories, hoping to uncover another example of this anomaly. Auction houses quickly recognized its value, and as the bids climbed, it finally sold to a private collector for a mind-blowing $40,000. Yes, that's right, $40,000 for a 5-cent coin. Imagine, something so small, so seemingly insignificant, sitting forgotten in a drawer, quietly harboring immense value. That's the magic of coin collecting. It reminds us that history still lives in our hands, that errors can become masterpieces, and that the rarest treasures often come in the humblest forms. So, what should you do if you think you might have one of these rare 1990 Jefferson nickels? Start by closely examining the coin's color and luster. If it has an unusually silver tone, feels slightly lighter, or stands out from other nickels, it's worth weighing it carefully. A precise scale and a good magnifier can help you spot the first signs of something special. If the coin meets the right physical criteria, your next step should be to consult a reputable coin grading service or numismatic expert. Even a small difference in weight or shine could mean the difference between an ordinary coin and one worth thousands. And while examples of this rare composition are scarce, they are out there. Every year, new coins with unexpected errors are discovered, many by ordinary people who took a second look at their spare change. This 1990 Jefferson Nickel teaches us an unforgettable lesson. Never underestimate the value of what you hold in your hand. The coin's historical curiosity, its accidental creation, and its undeniable rarity have made it a legend among modern U.S. coinage. It's a bridge between wartime America and the modern minting era, a true oddity that proves the world of coins is filled with endless surprises. So keep your eyes open. That little nickel at the bottom of your pocket might not just be pocket change. It might be a piece of American history, waiting to shine.